everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the next generation Jeep Cherokee KM. Now this is Jeep's mainstream D segment SUV that's actually due out later this summer. And we actually are getting our first glimpse at it in person. Basically what we're seeing here is the latest spy images from my buddy Glenn Polina, who was out at the Chrysler Tech Center and caught it out in Auburn Hills doing some testing. So we're actually getting our first look at this vehicle. While it's camouflaged up, of course, we can tell a lot about this vehicle going forward and what to expect when it makes its debut later this year. So there are some things that we've been talking big time about on Mopar Insiders about the powertrain. We've had, a lot of things, like a lot of sources tell us about, what models are going to come out and stuff like that. So I want to go through a kind of an in-depth little video here showing you some of the spy images and talking a little bit about what we know about this all-new mainstream D SUV that's coming from Jeep. And it's really going to fill out an important role in Jeep's lineup. So let's go back to the last generation Jeep Cherokee. Now, the last generation Jeep Cherokee was introduced in 2013 as a 2014 model, and it was made a lot of headlines because of its polarizing look. A lot of people hated the look. It got a lot of criticism right off the bat, but it ended up going out and being a very successful vehicle for Jeep, and to the point where it was doing really, really good for the brand up until 2017, late 2017. And that's when Jeep introduced the current generation Jeep Compass. Now with the Jeep Compass, it grew a little bit in size compared to the first generation, but if you actually look at the overall interior room compared to the Cherokee, even though the footprint was smaller of the vehicle, it actually made better use of the interior and actually was pretty much close to what the Cherokee was in the interior size. So unfortunately, it actually started cannibalizing the Jeep Cherokee sales. And a lot of people were like, hey, I can go for a cheaper Compass that looks more like a Grand Cherokee and get more tech and stuff than I can with the older Cherokee model. So Jeep ended up going through and revising that model, the Cherokee KL, and put an all-new front end on it, kind of getting rid of the polarizing look and put a more conservative front end, thinking that it would attract buyers. However, unfortunately, that didn't happen, and it just kind of dropped right off. And the interesting part was right when COVID hit, then we started seeing a semiconductor shortage and everything else. And the Belvidere, Illinois plant that was putting this thing together was constantly shut down. I mean, they were constantly short on parts and stuff. And because it was its only vehicle that it was producing and sales were down, the plant just faced constant shutdowns. It was actually the most shut down plant during the COVID semiconductor era than any other Stellantis plant. So unfortunately, the word came down from corporate that in February 2023, the plant was going to go idle, and they were discontinuing the Cherokee name. And the last one rolled out, and it was sad because at the time, Belvidere had been open for 60 years straight. They built almost 12 million vehicles in that time, and they were known for building unibody, smaller Chrysler vehicles. So they built the Dodge Dart, the Dodge Caliber, Dodge Neon, the first generation Jeep Compass, the Jeep Patriot, a whole bunch of vehicles up until that point. So unfortunately, Jeep has been without a D segment SUV for quite a while. This year we ended up getting, just recently we ended up getting the new Wagoneer S. Now the Wagoneer S is very similar to this Cherokee. It's based on the same platform. The dimensions are very close. However, that's an all-electric vehicle, and it's basically targeting a different segment than what the Cherokee is. Where the Wagoneer S is based on, more of an urban feel. It is more sporty. It's more of a more of a street Jeep than anything else. Where this Cherokee will be more of a mainstream model. We will probably see more variants coming down the road with, obviously an off-road, maybe a Trailhawk model. But as of right now, what we know about this thing is it's going to have a totally different roofline. It does share some parts with the Wagoneer S. If you look at the A pillar, the B pillar, and whatnot, and the doors all look, and the mirrors, of course, too, are all carryovers from the Wagoneer S. It does look like it shares its same wheelbase. However, it's going to have a completely unique front end, and the back of the vehicle won't have that really radical spoiler that we've seen with the Wagoneer S. It's going to be more of a conventional, like boxy shaped Jeep, so we're going to have more even cargo capacity with this one. So again, it's more rugged looking. It's a little bit more mainstream than what the Wagoneer S is, where it's Wagoneer S is kind of like in your face urban. But the very interesting thing is we're going to get a single powertrain with this thing, and it's not going to be electric. It's not going to be an all electric vehicle. It's going to be a hybrid model. So when this thing makes its debut later this year, it's actually going to have a brand new 1.6 liter turbo hybrid engine. Now this engine is not one of the small displacement global small engine models that we know, like the 1.3 liter that was in the Renegade and stuff like that. This is actually based on a Peugeot motor, and it's very interesting that the Stellantis engineers would use this engine. So it's kind of an older motor, but it sounds like it's been completely retooled to make its own unique version for North America. So we don't know horsepower numbers or anything yet. I expect it probably will have about 180 to maybe 200 horsepower, but it will have a brand new hybrid transmission. And that's going to be a radical design, because it's going to be a 3-speed hybrid transmission. We're so used to having like 8 and 9-speed transmissions now, but the Jeep is going back to basics, and they're going to have a 3-speed. So it's supposed to mean smoother shifts. It's supposed to have better transition between power modes. So this thing will operate, it will be electric for the most part when, it's running at certain speeds, but it's going to be not a plug-in. It's just going to be a hybrid. So you'll be able to pump this thing full of gas and just run it on hybrid mode all the time. So basically when you're in traffic, it'll be able to go on like electric, all electric mode for low speeds and stuff like that. It might even do it for high speeds. We don't know, because the powertrain is so different, but it's not going to be your conventional plug-in hybrid like the 4xe models. Matter of fact, we might even see this badged as what Jeep calls over in Europe as an E. So if you look at Jeep's E hybrids over there, they're front-wheel drive, but they're like mild hybrids, and they use the E from the 4xe, and it's green. So we might see that on every one of these models as well. But that new engine is not going to be a European engine. It's actually going to be built here in Michigan at the Dundee engine plant. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this new model operates. We've seen the patents for this transmission on the USPTO website. So it's for sure coming in the Cherokee, and it'll be very interesting to see how this thing operates in basically busy traffic. When we talk about its actual footprint, so this is going to fit. Now, mind you, Jeep is basically revamping their lineup for 2026. We're going to get an all-new Jeep Compass. And the Jeep Compass is actually supposed to grow a little bit in size. So, meaning like the last generation Cherokee got cannibalized by that. So Jeep is really trying to make sure that the Cherokee, this KM Cherokee, is a lot different in space-wise. So that's why we see the more cargo space in that. A lot of people have been saying that there might be even a third row option. I'm kind of up in arms about that. It would be kind of cool, but I don't see it in the length department having a third row. So, I mean, Jeep has a lot of third row vehicles already. They have the Jeep Grand Cherokee L, and down in Brazil, they actually sell the Jeep Commander, which is basically a Compass with a third row. So I don't know if this would be enough room to have a third row. If it would be taking up all the cargo space from what these spy images say, or actually show us. But yeah, it looks like to be a 5-passenger 2-row SUV, just like the Wagoneer S, but with more cargo capability. And then if we look at the actual market, again, it's going to fit perfectly in with the Equinox, like the Ford Escape and stuff like that. So it'll be very interesting to see how Jeep goes forward with their lineup. And if we talk about their lineup, it's going to make its debut, at least from what my sources have been saying, with 3 models. So we're going to see a sport model, which is like the entry level model. Probably get 18-inch wheels and look very simple. And then we're going to get a Latitude, which is a very common trim in Jeep's lineup. So basically it's, a well-equipped, this is your meats and potatoes kind of trim. And in Canada, the Latitude will be badged as the North model. I won't say edition, but North, because up there they've never had a Latitude version of the Cherokee. They always had the North. And then they're going to have the top of the line limited, and that's what we're looking at here. So this is the one with all the bells and whistles that's more luxurious and stuff like that. You can tell it's got 20-inch wheels. It's got standard LED headlights. It looks like it has LED fog lights from some of these images. So it'll be very interesting to see, the limited going forward. And one thing we will say is the design studio is getting away from the chrome, and we always know that the limited models always have a lot of chrome. And if you look at this model here, you see that the daylight opening around the windows is all blacked out, just like the Wagoneer S. So the whole design studio is really trying to get away from chrome, because the whole chrome era is gone from what people have been buying. People don't like chrome anymore, at least the majority of people. So now we're going to see more of a black look. If we look at the Wagoneer S, they showed off the launch edition in a black trim, and even the new limited Wagoneer S that we're going to talk about later, it's doesn't have any chrome on it whatsoever. It's got a satin finish to it. So that's what we're probably going to see going forward on all Jeep models. There's not going to be any chrome anymore on Jeeps. So a very interesting move, but nonetheless, that's the way the market's going. Again, when we talk about capability, we do know that all Jeep Cherokees, these new hybrids, are going to be four-wheel drive. At least from what my sources have said, there will not be a front-wheel drive model, which kind of upsets me, because not everybody needs standard four-wheel drive. If you live in Florida or Texas or Arizona and stuff, you really don't need four-wheel drive standard. And to me, Jeep needs as many vehicles as it can to be under $30,000. So I don't understand why they won't basically make a front-wheel drive model of this. I understand maybe it's the powertrain with the new hybrid powertrain and how it's set up. But unfortunately, hopefully in the future we'll see changes. But for now, it'll be standard four-wheel drive. And then we thought this was going to be a 2026 model originally. This is a 2025 model. This is actually going to make its debut, actually going to start production, I should say, in this summer. And we will be seeing it arrive at dealers in early fourth quarter. So probably around October. And it's going to be a very short model year. So for 2025. And then 2026 will probably be an extension of the same models. We'll probably get a Trailhawk model. Now, the interesting part about, if you look at, its capability and stuff, there should be a Trailhawk model coming, we would at least think, because the Jeep Cherokee KL Trailhawk was a huge success for the brand. And we've been teased with a Wagoneer S Trailhawk concept, which, if you look at the interior, since we don't have any spy photos of the interior yet, it's radically different than the Wagoneer S. So I'm pretty sure that this interior is kind of hinting at where the Cherokee will be. So I'm really pretty sure, if you look at the overall switches and stuff, we've seen spy photos of the interior of the new Recon, and it has that red square with the off-road dial and stuff. This Trailhawk Wagoneer S model concept vehicle had that same thing. I'm pretty sure this is how an off-road version of the Cherokee is going to look. Same kind of similar styling and stuff like that. So that should be a pretty interesting model, but it won't be in 2025. So again, if we talk about pricing, I would have to say, because of its size and stuff, this vehicle will probably be priced in the mid-30s and then go all the way up to maybe touching $60,000. I don't think it'll be any higher than 60. Just because of where the Wagoneer S falls, and I don't think they want to cannibalize the two. The very interesting part is it's going to be built in Toluca, Mexico. It's going to be built alongside the new Recon and the Wagoneer S. So, and the one thing about the Wagoneer S and the Recon is those are global Jeeps. However, this Cherokee is going to be completely strictly for North America. It's not going to be sold in Europe. It's not going to be sold in Australia. They are going to get the Wagoneer S, but we are just getting this Cherokee. So it's going to be specific to this market. So we know that's going to be really detailed, focused for North America. So that's a good thing, because a lot of times we've been getting these Jeeps like the Compass and stuff that are global vehicles, and they're built to kind of please everybody, where we need something that's more North American specific. So anyways, what do you guys think of the all-new Cherokee? I mean, is Jeep ready to reclaim, the D segment with this thing? drop your comments below and stay tuned for more updates. And until then, keep adventuring. See you later.